What a huge day for Auburn basketball.
This is happening in Auburn, Alabama. We're a football school, but we're also an everything school.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And welcome on into the Henry Service Company Auburn basketball post-game show. Auburn wins 94-73 against Georgia, as I'm joined by Daryl Dapprich, as we are after every single Auburn basketball game. Daryl, this is a team that beat Auburn earlier in the year, and this is just the timing of it coming off of back-to-back losses. The Tigers needed to win, and they did so in kind of a dramatic fashion. I mean, as far as just pounding them early and often, and that's all she wrote, really.
Yeah, through the course of a season, there are games that you play that you really feel like are must wins. You got to have them. It's to stem the tide. It's to turn the momentum around. And this game, especially with Auburn playing at home and having lost to Georgia already and having come off two losses in a row, right, just felt like a must win. I had to have it. But, Zach, the way they won this game was very encouraging to me. Now, look, I'm not going to go, overboard on this, but look, this isn't a bottom feeder in the SEC. Georgia is the definition of mid. I mean, they're 14-8 now, but they were 4-4 in the conference coming in, which 500 is middle of the pack,
and I think Georgia fans would have taken that going into the season. I mean, so far to this point, Georgia's actually overachieved a little bit, I think.
They really have. Mike White's done a good job. They've overachieved. They caused Auburn some problems in Georgia with their defensive sets that Auburn didn't adjust. And then tonight, the unthinkable happened. I mean, Auburn hit 9 threes. They were 9 of 25 for 36%. I said it after the first scrimmage. If Auburn can shoot 35% from three and still get those points in the paint that they're used to getting, they shot 56% from the field. A lot of dunks. But they also hit 9 threes. So if Auburn can hit 9 or 10 threes a game and get that advantage like we talked about, it's really a simple formula. Make sure the other team does not shoot lights out like A&M did with shooting threes. Now, Georgia tonight, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. If you would have told me Georgia was going to shoot 41% from the three-point line and Auburn was going to beat them 21, I would have that would have been hard to believe. But the reason why is because the points in the paint, and then Auburn shot it good to counter that from three as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. And obviously threes have been a big conversation around Auburn basketball. But let's play a quick game here. Let's count the turnovers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can count all 5 on just one hand, Daryl. 5 turnovers across the whole team. I mean, to me, that's the stat of the game. I know the threes were fun and exciting, but to me, it's Auburn only committing 5 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, when you value the basketball like that and you get good possessions, we talked about it Saturday, the empty possessions. Auburn did the exact polar opposite of that tonight. They had really good possessions. And how you get those is don't turn it over. You combine that with the plus 9 or plus 8 on the rebounding side. Because look, I mean, free throws, they both hit 13 free throws. Neither team shot lights out from the free throw line, but Auburn possessed the basketball more. They shot the ball 12 more times than Georgia. I mean, they made 13 more field goals than Georgia. That's how you win by 21 when the other team shoots 41%.
No doubt. No doubt about it. A lot of people in the live chat right now, Daryl, saying, like, where is, who kidnapped our offense and replaced them with more efficient scorers? And, man, that was fun. I mean, all of that. Auburn being able to score 94, I mean, that's exciting. That's certainly exciting. So much to the fact where, like, if you would have told me Georgia was going to score 73 points, I don't know if I would have picked us. Just the way the offense has kind of been going and the way that Georgia's kind of been able to dictate pace. They were able to do that last time these two teams played. Granted, it was in Athens, but the big question in AU Tiger 97, phrase it a little differently than I would, but it's the same question. AU Tiger 97 asked, can we sustain this? And Daryl, I think the answer to this is no. I don't think so. Now, Auburn can win games in different ways. And I think Auburn can win games by shooting close to 40% from three and just turning the ball over, single digit amount of times. Like, I think they can win games that way, but I don't think it's going to be consistent. I don't think Auburn can consistently win games that way just because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it at this point.
No, it would just be nice to show these, to flash this every once in a while when you have to win a game like this, to have it in your holster, right? I mean, that to have it in your tool bag, that every once in a while you got to pull it out and say, gosh, I got to score 90 points to win a basketball game. I mean, you made a point about, if you would have told me, I had Georgia scoring 60. I really thought Georgia was not going to score more than 60 tonight. It was going to be a 75, 60 kind of game. And it started out, I don't know, I just felt weird. I was watching the game and I was like, I don't feel real good. The energy level, the arena wasn't full. People were saying on social media. And then, Auburn got on that run early. And I think that dunks, it's old school for me. I just think that dunks kind of get you going. It's a mindset of enthusiasm and intensity. And then once Wendell Green started hitting some threes, it was over. I mean, that's why. But I think you're right. It's not sustainable, but you would like to be able to go to this every once in a while to pull it out of your tool bag if you need to win a game. I mean, there's going to be times when we play Tennessee and Alabama, whether it's at home or on the road, but I think Auburn's going to have to get in the mid-80s to win. Against Alabama, you may have to get in the 90s. So this was nice against a team that, again, is not a bottom feeder and already beat Auburn. So I think that's why this was such an important win. It was exactly, in my opinion, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. If it was a prescription that was written by a doctor, it was filled tonight.
Ooh, well done. I like that, Daryl. That was kind of epic.
Didn't mean to make a drug reference. Just say no to drugs, kids. But anyway,
sure. If you have a prescription, you're probably
prescription. Okay. You're all good. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, just looking at it, Wendell Green 6 of 11, like especially 3 of 5 from three. You take that. I mean, he's not the most efficient scorer in the world, but shooting over 50% from the floor from a Wendell Green, yeah, you take that. Janai Broom 8 of 11 for 19. Yes, please and thank you. An uncharacteristic 0 for 3 for Zep Jasper. I'm fine with that. I mean, that's going to be fine. He usually go 2 for 3 and when he's only shooting it 3 times.
He went to the rim, though.
Flanigan,
I like that.
A crisp. Yep, he did.
Yep,
he did. A crisp 8 of 10 shooting for Alan Flanigan, who I think if Auburn goes on a run, it's going to be because of Alan Flanigan. That's just me. If they get some stuff going in the postseason, I think it's because of Alan Flanigan. All right, we're being told in the live chat. We'll circle back to the box score in a second, Daryl, but Florida, Tennessee has gone final, and Florida defeats the Tennessee Vols by 13, 67 to 54.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I wish that not had. Well, it's huge for a couple reasons, but I kind of wish that had not happened. I'd rather Tennessee come off a win feeling confident about themselves, a little overconfident. They're going to be one angry basketball team Saturday at home. I mean, I compare it to what happened.
Bury them.
That's true. I mean, now again, Auburn lost 2 in a row. They lost to Texas A&M and didn't come out and boot stomp West Virginia. Right. But, Auburn and Alabama both and some other teams in the SEC, having lost their Big 12 shootout game, came back and made a statement. And I think that Tennessee is going to be very angry Saturday at home. I'd rather than been a little bit of a sleeping giant. But, again, it could be one of those situations where Florida exposed some stuff, right? You get this on tape.
Lance is saying that Tennessee has put up 20 more shots than Florida and is about to lose by double digits. I mean, that's wild.
That is wild. But maybe there's a formula there. Maybe there's something that you can gain from this game on tape that you can use. Because, look, Auburn plays Tennessee always traditionally. I mean, they've won 4 of the last 5, maybe 5 out of the last 6, including the SEC, tournament. The only time they lost there in a while was last year, and that was a close game. I mean, Auburn had a chance to win that game late. So traditionally, Auburn plays really well in Knoxville. And so, yeah, that'd be a nice opportunity to kind of leapfrog them, right, and cement us at second place or tied with A&M, who's got 2 losses now in the conference, and get a little separation there. That'd be beautiful.
It would be beautiful. Clay says if Katie and Allen both play good, we're a tough out for anyone. Boy, isn't that the truth? Isn't that
true?
But isn't that kind of what happens when you're a team filled with role players, Daryl? Where it's like, all right, if these guys exceed what you kind of think that they're going to, as far as scoring output for the evening, I mean, that's kind of what you expect, right?
Well, I think Broom and Wendell Green are the engine that make it go. I think they are a little bit above what we consider a role player. Yeah. Jalen Williams, I felt like was going to be, but I think you make a good point on this Allen Flanigan thing. Everybody wanted Flanigan to go back to the pre-Achilles Flanigan, right? Mm-hmm. Well, tonight may have been his best game in an Auburn uniform, period. And it comes a year and a half after the surgery against an SEC opponent, and he exceeded, in my opinion, anything he did his sophomore year, right, when everyone was talking about he was an NBA prospect and all that. So, I mean, he shot the three. He was explosive. He did the little teardrop thing. I mean, he played good defense. He rebounded the basketball. That was that game right there. If you can sustain that, if you can play that way or close, who knows? Remember, the light came on for Chuma Okeke in that year that during the Final Four against Georgia, at Georgia, and then he just was a beast the rest of the way. Who knows? College basketball, anything can happen. Who knows anymore?
The talent's there. If shots can start to fall, maybe that's it. And look, the second half against West Virginia, maybe they figured something out. Maybe they're like, okay, let's quit screwing around and start scoring points. And ever since then, they've been able to do something. Small sample size. We'll see if they can do it again on the road. Once again, Knoxville, one of the tougher places to play in the SEC. Want to get to y'all's comments? Go ahead and flood the live chat with comments, questions, concerns, whatever it may be. But look, we all know Georgia's mascot, Ugga Lee, is what it is when you have any kind of issues in your home or business regarding plumbing, electrical. You like
I was waiting. I was just wondering. I was like,
I couldn't even get through it. The pun was so bad.
It's just fun to wait and see.
Yeah, no, you got to check out our friends at Henry Service Company because they make those ugly situations a lot prettier because they're able to fix you and get you back on track. And it doesn't matter what it is, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, they've got you covered. You can give them a call if you're in the Montgomery Tri-County area, 334-288-2700. They and they do it all. They certainly do it all. Whether you got issues with your HVAC or your water heaters, whatever it may be, they're going to be able to take care of you. Doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. Doesn't matter what day of the year it is. They have you covered. That number once again 334-288-2700. Alabama license number 00021. People in the comments section just kind of talking about how great Allen Flanigan was. And Daryl, you said a second ago, like, was it his best game in an Auburn uniform? And I originally thought that was a hot take, but I'm having a hard time coming up with a better performance than what he did tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, now he only had one rebound, which really surprised me. I thought he had a lot more than that, but 8 of 10 from the field. And then I don't think, no turnovers. My goodness, 22 points and no turnovers. That's
delicious. Put him in the
That's
NBA
unbelievable.
Right
now.
That
is unbelievable. So yeah, he and KD played with a level of intensity and ferocity. He had 13 points, but he really got to the rim when he wanted to get to the rim. Defensively, he was causing Okendo all kind of problems and fits. So both of them, who had been kind of the whipping boys. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Flanigan had that little stretch where he was playing well, and we felt like he was back. I just think that these kind of games you build on from a confidence standpoint.
Yep. Did you see this breaking news from Lance? Breaking: Georgia doctors have had players underneath an MRI machine since the game ended. Sources say they're still looking for that dog in them. They can't find it.
Yeah.
They don't have
maybe
that
they
dog
should go.
in them.
Maybe they should go to Dallas to see if anyone was knocking on doors at 6 a.m.
Oh, wow. Dang.
Yeah. There's got some dog. I wanted to touch on something real quick, and I've been thinking about this for like 4 days. Sorry.
Where are you going from that?
Well, I know. I just let that simmer and sit out there. Just let it sit out there. Let it marinate a little bit. We have a lot of questions, and I want to kind of address this from because everybody asks it every show we do about, going to the portal and getting shooters and processing. It's the question, the old age question. I feel like one thing that I've let slip, and I'm guilty of it, and that I have failed to mention, it needs to be mentioned, is Bruce Pearl kind of gets a bad rap on that. People forget he did have 2 stud shooters. And to no fault, he did go out and get 2 dudes 2 years ago that would be starting right now. But to no fault of his own, they're not wearing an Auburn uniform. Desi Seals, the transfer from Arkansas, playing really good basketball right now. Couldn't come to Auburn because of Auburn not having his major. Trey Alexander, a kid for Creighton that was as a freshman, was a stud and is lighting it up this year, decided that he didn't want to compete. He got his feelings hurt because Auburn signed 2 guards and he didn't want to compete, so he goes somewhere else. Bruce did what he needed to do to have 2 shooting studs on campus, and to no fault of his own, he got hamstrung because one didn't get into school and one bailed on us. So that's just something to remember when the narrative comes up about why not go out and get some shooters. He had them, and it's not his fault of what happened and how the situation played out.
That makes sense as far as what the roster
and Justin
construction.
Powell. Yeah, and Justin Powell was a good shooter. So think about this team if Powell didn't transfer and if Alexander and Seals were on campus. Think of those 3 dudes and how they could shoot the basketball.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the timing. Like if Desi Seals was on our roster, who wouldn't have come here?
KD.
Because you wouldn't have. Is that
you
it?
would? Because Desi Seals was.
Like I'd rather have him than KD.
Yeah, KD got Zepp and Wendell were right away. I mean, they got signed, committed right away, and Trey Alexander was already a commitment in that class when Wendell and Zepp transferred. But when Auburn went to go get Desi Seals, and that didn't work out, then Auburn went and got KD Johnson. I don't think both Johnson and Seals would have been on campus. It's just my opinion.
Do we want to talk about Auburn adding a 5-star, Jahad Pettiford?
Yes. Jahad Pettiford, one of the greatest names, and just has a sweet name for a lefty. Just a lefty should have a name like Jahad Pettiford, right? I mean, I could just hear the PA announcer. Some have him as a 5-star, some have him as a 4-star, some have him at 5'11", some have him at 6'1". Bottom line is he can flat out shoot it. He's a elite shooting point guard. A comp that I would give to people is a guy like Mustafa Heron, if he can handle the basketball a little bit better. Yeah, that's the kind of comp. And then Auburn may be getting some, I'll just say it, LeBarian Philon is crystal balled. Doesn't mean it's going to happen Friday, but he's crystal balled to Auburn. The 6'3"
a lot of people
kid,
think we're getting him.
Yep, the 6'3" kid from Baker in Mobile. He's a combo guard. And that's important because, you hear this chatter of, wait a minute, you got Aiden Holloway coming in next year. And then these kids are 2024 kids. How are they going to coexist in the backcourt? Well, one's a combo guard. And I read an interesting piece, a great little nugget today. Bruce he was very honest with both of them from the get-go. Said, I want both of y'all. Let them meet each other, talk to each other, be honest and transparent. And now they're both good friends and they kind of like each other and they're excited about playing together. He made it very, and they liked how upfront he was about it and honest. So if you got a combo guard, just slide him to the 2. There's enough room.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do about like instant impact stuff and just the roster dynamic of they've got to do something this offseason, right? They've got to. And I don't know how many spots you're going to have. So we'll see. But still the whole point guard dynamic is wild to me. With Wendell Green coming back, you have to assume. Is Chance Westry still playing the 1? Trey Donaldson's still going to be playing the 1. I don't think you can move him anywhere. And Aiden Holloway coming in. And then, you hope Holloway's a one-and-done guy. But all those other dudes are still going to be there. Maybe Westry takes that next step and figures it out. I don't know. And you got these guys coming in. Like, it's just going to be like the point guard situation. I mean, not all those guys could be here, right, Daryl?
I can't imagine.
Something?
I can't imagine that I'm not reading tea leaves if these two kids get signed in 2024 and Holloway plays the point next year with Wendell Green still and Trey Donaldson, that it tells me that Westry's got to be moving to the 2. I can't see how else he's not. I mean, there's just no way. You've got to move him to the 2 if you've got all these point guards, coming in and coming back and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just don't think like you can't. Aiden Holloway, Wendell Green, and Trey Donaldson. Let's assume you move that. Like, is Donaldson going to be okay playing less minutes next year? It's just a weird situation. And then,
like, great question.
If you're Trey and you look at the class coming in, like those dudes are probably going to stay ahead of you too. Like, it's just kind of a tough situation. I don't really know how that works, Daryl.
That's where you don't fault a kid. I'm not promoting this. I'm not asking for this. I'm not hoping for this. I'm just saying this is where the transfer portal is a good thing for the student athlete. When you get caught in a numbers crunch like this and you're like a good point guard, but elite point guards come in, one comes back next year, another comes in, and then you figure, okay, I'll just bide my time and wait till these 2 dudes leave. One is a one and done and one's going to graduate. Right. And then you got 2 5 stars coming in. That's when you say either I'm a dog and I'm going to beat them out and they're going to have to drag me off the floor, or transfer portal looks good. I'm going to go somewhere else where I can get playing time. And I wouldn't blame a kid for that one bit.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't want that to happen, though, because I think he could develop into a really good player. Look, we saw moments of it tonight. I mean, he had a great 3. What were his final numbers?
Well, he had great vision. He made a really nice – he only had 3 points.
That was his only shot that he made.
But he had 5 assists. 5 assists. I mean, from your point guard
in 14 minutes with no turnover.
That's a great ratio.
You take that.
That's a good ratio. So he has good court vision. He really makes that nice pass, that no look pass. He finds the open guy. So no, I don't want him to go anywhere. And I think he could be. I told you early on. I think he could be a really good rebounding guard. I think he's tough. He's like tough, like a tough kid. I could see him becoming a really good defender. So, I mean, I hope he sticks around, and I hope he understands that there's a role for everybody.
Jeremy is asking, can Trey play the 2? I don't think so either. I think he's got to be an on-ball guy.
So. He's got to be an on-ball guy, especially with his vision and the way he handles the ball. And he's not an elite shooter yet. Maybe he grows into one, but he shoots a flat shot. Even the shot that went in tonight was a line drive. But I just don't think that's his forte.
I mean, that could work.
If you're a combo guard, I don't have a problem moving kids, but I get tired of this whole playing people out of position stuff. It's tough.
Yep. The Kentucky smack talk in the live chat is wild. So that's fun.
Yeah, that really is coming in here talking a little noise.
There's a few people asking about radio broadcast. I'm not sure. Certain places couldn't hear that. Let's see. I've got a text from the Auburn radio broadcast. They had technical difficulties with their satellite provider, and it's on terrestrial radio, Facebook, and YouTube. And they hope it's resolved before Tiger Talk tomorrow. So there's the update there for folks asking about that specifically in the Birmingham area.
I saw where there was something on Twitter they said go to the app to hear it. So yeah, that's interesting.
He just said it wasn't available on the app in that text. So I don't know, because Lance is in the room over and he was trying to listen to it, and he's like, I had to pull up Georgia's broadcast. So I don't know. Hopefully they get it figured out tomorrow. We'll see.
Poor Lance.
We will see. Poor Lance. That's right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about just the upcoming game, Daryl.
Sure.
You go to Knoxville. I mean, that would be just such a huge win. I don't think if they win or lost tonight, I don't think the outcome of that game impacts what's going to happen Saturday. I just don't. And I think you can say the same tonight about what Auburn did against Georgia. Like, I just don't think what happened tonight for either team impacts what's going to happen Saturday. But Bruce Pearl's locker room loves him. loves him. And this game means more than other games to Bruce Pearl. I mean, he spent a lot of time there. And for whatever reason, I don't know how he does it, but Auburn always seems to play their best ball of the season against the Vols. I feel weirdly good about Saturday.
Well, it's a season maker. I'll tell you why. If Auburn goes on the road and beats Tennessee and gets into second place kind of firmly there, Tennessee would have 3 losses, beats a top 10 team on the road. Yeah, that's a season changer. The complexion of the season changes because, let's be honest, when you forecast how Auburn's going to finish and you start going, okay, win, loss, you have that as an L. I mean, you just do. And so Auburn gets that win. It's strangely similar to how Auburn football used to play against Arkansas for Gus Malzahn. I mean, they beat Big Bird 56-3 one year, and I think Eli Stove just ran by my window. I mean, it was the biggest,
right? And
it's just they came out, they're ready to play, and so I think for some reason Auburn really, like you said, really plays well against Tennessee. People say it's a matchup problem for Rick Barnes. How Buzz Williams kind of has Bruce's number. Does Bruce have Rick Barnes' number? I don't know. I think it's a case of the players sense how special it is for Bruce, and they elevate their game every time. No matter what team he has, they elevate their game when they see that nasty shade of orange across the way.
It's a gross shade. There's no question about it. And just the checkered part of it just doesn't look good. I don't care what they say. It just doesn't look good. But yeah, I mean, even like in the 2020 season, I mean, that Auburn team wasn't very good. I don't think Sharif Cooper played in that game. Did he? Because that was like when he was kind of like hurt and he was holding out for the draft or whatever.
Yeah, that was one of Alan Flanigan's best games.
Weirdest game. It's like, why are we pulling this off? Yeah, so that was I don't know. Like, I feel weirdly good about it just because we've kind of been solid against Tennessee as of late.
Yeah, we do. We have. And I think, and again, it doesn't matter if it's on the road or if it's at home or if it's in a neutral floor in the SEC tournament. And one thing that Auburn's done really well against Tennessee, even last year when they barely lost, they fell behind. They've won some games. I remember the game in Auburn where Auburn was down 14. They came back. They came back in the SEC championship. They don't mind falling behind. They play well. They elevate their game, and falling behind doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right. Anybody else's performance tonight that we didn't talk about? Dylan 4 of 5 from the floor with a couple of explosive dunks. Even that alley-oop that like missed somehow bounced in. Like that's fun to see. Chris Moore 2 of 5. Jalen Williams only shot it 6 times. Like that number still needs to go up. I don't care how hot other players are. Anybody I'm leaving off here?
No, I think Cardwell was maddening until he hit that little reverse one that was lucky to go in. I mean, he missed shots around the rim. He couldn't catch the basketball. The ball was going off his hand. I mean, it was absolutely a dumpster fire for when he was in the game until he made that first shot. And then it just completely changed the script. I mean, he went nuts. Did you see the little baby hook at the free throw line? I mean, he catches and turns and does a little Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and hits that shot. That's when you know he's feeling it. I mean, it's one thing to get 4 dunks, but he hit that little baby hook that Broom has been really effective with too. Broom adds that to his repertoire. He's going to be an NBA player. But anyway,
Clay mentioned, speaking of Broom, you mentioned Broom first half double-double. That's hard to do.
It really is. He came to play. He has really stepped up and has elevated his game from non-conference to conference and has been exactly what Auburn hoped when they got him.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, he's become the bright spot on the team. I mean, can you imagine this team if they didn't have him?
Oh,
I mean, you could argue he's the MVP of what they've got going on right now.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have a true 5 that could score. I mean, unless Trehor would have made an impact that we would have expected him to make, which he hasn't, you don't have a 5 that can score. And the way Auburn shoots it from the outside, that would have been really tough. I mean, because again, they're going to ride or die with points in the paint. And what they got tonight from behind the arc is a cherry on top. That
right.
you do what you're supposed to do in the paint and then hit 10 threes, and then you become really dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a team that people don't want to play towards the end of the season. There's no question about it. Wes says only Kessler and Wiley were able to do what Janai Broom did tonight. And I'm
shocked
only
Wiley
Kessler.
did it. Yeah, Wiley. I mean, don't you have to catch the ball first to be able to do that?
That's right. Right. And look, I like Austin Wiley, but like I don't think he could have done what Janai did.
Well,
tonight.
I do too. I just felt bad.
Kessler would have done it in a different way.
Yeah,
I think.
Austin Wiley would have averaged about 8 more points a game if he could catch the ball on the block. I mean, it was just so frustrating.
Weird. It's the weirdest thing. His hands are so big too. You think he'd be able to catch everything with those things.
Yeah, I just I don't know, but he would have been a force. I mean, I love the kid. I mean, he had some good games, some great moments. It's just, man, tough
for sure. Cool. We will we'll wrap it up here, guys. Seriously, check out our friends at Henry Service Company. They're outstanding. We are so lucky to be able to partner with them and everything they've got going on. Daryl trusts them in his home and in his business and you should too. If you're in the Montgomery, Tri-County area, give our friends at Henry Service Company a call, 334-288-2700. Alabama license number is 00021. We will be back, Daryl, Saturday, recapping hopefully an Auburn win. Hopefully, I mean, that could be a fun show. I mean, that could be the show of the season.
That would be.
Up to this point, the show of the season has been the Arkansas game.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a blast. But it could be Saturday if they pull that off. I mean, wow.
We will stay on for as long. After that win, we'll just bask in the glow of the victory and stay on as long as people want us to, right?
Yeah, that may be a longer show. That may be a longer show if they win. And I think everybody will be okay with that. That'd be a lot of fun. So please like this video if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. It means a ton. We're getting closer and closer to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Daryl, how can people give you some love, buddy?
Well, I want to give you some love first. If anyone hasn't had the opportunity, please go check out. I know people that do this live show listen to you every day, but the Hugh Freeze interview today, if you haven't got a chance to listen to it, is very telling. It's a great job. And so I would encourage people to listen to that. It's very enjoyable.
Thank you. Yeah, we got Hugh Freeze today. Tomorrow we have Ekuliota and Derek Hall on the show. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, that's getting it done there, brother. So if you want to just check me out, DAP6410 on Twitter, and then Monday mornings with Ben Taylor, Auburn Opelika this morning, News Talk WANI, about 7:10 to 7:30 we go and we talk all things sports.
Yes, sir. Give Daryl some love. He is deserving of it. Find all my written work at auburndaily.com. Subscribe to the show. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.